massive climb community just tucked away in the mountains. So we have zero information about it. And oh wow, hey, okay, mountain house, and then a couple cabins. Was it no trip is complete? Yeah, no tour will be complete without a trip to the room. And we got two of them. We're going to be doing this side, being way over kind of climb up over here. There's also a house tucked away in the woods. Oh, another outhouse. Okay, wasn't expecting that. A lot of moss on this wood. Very mossy. So that's the storage room. Small storage building, outhouse, then the assay office. As we continue, nice porch, going into the assay office. Tons and tons of ore samplings, which just don't end. This is a real genuine art form. If we didn't even know it existed, that's when we know it's a secret location. So once you open, so this one is covered up by its part. Looking back almost into this room for all the ore samplings. And I believe the next rooms are going to have ore samplings too. And as we go in, that's interesting. This is the kitchen. So this has nothing to do with this other room. This was their ore samplings, the assay office per se. And then we get into the whole kitchen area with the wood, with the brick going out, and the oven, the stove top, and that shelving, and the countertops. A lot of graphic, tons. I love showing extremely hot around here. But this is really picked for everybody. It's a pretty big mine operation, just going off of what we've seen. Once again, we know nothing about this spot. Like the cabins, they still open and close. Interestingly enough, they're hanging to the top of the ceiling. And tons of cabins over here too. Wow. Nothing inside anything. And all this kitchen counter space. They stored it. Wow, look at all those nails. This is amazing. Howdy, howdy. It's awesome, yeah. Go have a look. Coming over here. Oh, crap. I didn't expect that. Oh, okay. So this was the kitchen. This is where we stored all the food storage was underneath the kitchen. I would not have thought this would be down here. Here's the house. I think it's a house. I like the porch a lot. The steps that go up. A lot of windows in the front room. That's not going to open. This whole wall is coming over. It's not going to stand it for that many years to come. But one thing to point out, look at the glass. All the glass is here. Nobody smashed it. And can't get a good look inside here. Going inside, entering into the bedroom, multiple beds in here, shower, still got the soap. Guys, this place really isn't that old. That's so insane. It looks like the 80s. Not going on. 80s, maybe early 90s at most. And then it was abandoned. Now that's weird. Got the toilet, the sink, got the bathroom, inside of the bedroom. It's like a real vibe, so who knows last time I was used. Walk-in shower. There's not gonna be anything in there. Tons of rat poop though. This place has been overran by rats. It's just this awesome bedroom going into the living room with the glass, giving an amazing view. What's up, you guys? Come on in. Right there. Yeah. Sexy. Check this walkout door. That's why we get in. But I don't know if they need what degree it is. How's everybody convinced you to come on in? Oh wow. Books down here too. All these books, priority moments and service, operating notes. The stuff they left behind. Electrical cord, extension cord. I wonder why there's a window here. Maybe this was an add-on, you know? This began as a small cabin. It's weird to have a window going into the bedroom. I did not. Whoa. Yeah. So it says, you know, you can't really get to this adjacent side, but you can see the bar stools over there. That's a whole kitchen area. This honestly like a saloon, even though there's a bedroom. I'm gonna try to get to that side coming back out of the house. So look at the degree of this wall. I was just getting ripped out of the house. I wanted to see the kitchen area, but there's no way to get to it. You just cannot safely do it. That is insane. I've never seen that type of decay. And this house is still holding up. It's city building. I just noticed something. Have a look in. Take a peek. Electrical box. I want to go see the building up above. There's this very small one to begin with. Had some sort of equipment in it. The whole foundation is cemented. Isn't much. The whole chimney is falling down. And this gives us a good perspective of the roof. It was a flat roof house. Look at these buildings. And there's this interesting one up above. Bunch of workshop lines. So this is first samples in here. Another one of these ones. Oh my gosh, these flies. They keep biting. That's it for this room. Oh, I see it. And the second one of these poor sand plants. Closet, almost a picnic. Or how do they set that up? And after that, there's an additional one. And that would be a mine. Or see, there's an additional one. It's empty. One lonely chair. Nothing in it. This line's all collapsed in. There's an additional cabin, which I gotta put it back down. Very small, one room, maybe two at most. Enclosing porch, very small one. I take it you can use it for storage. And this one's a cabin, a bed, sitting down here, shelving above the bed, small closet. And then a sink, kitchen, very low ceilings. Maybe 6 foot high ceilings at once. Water tanks over here. I'm not going in it. The other one, that was okay. This one, it's gone. Just completely. Just such a shame. The trash pit, best springs, old wood stove, tires and cans and boots, all kind of stuff washed up in there. And of course, the outhouse. This wasn't a house. It doesn't look like a house. Probably a workshop, especially with the equipment foundation behind. Huge garage opening. And wouldn't you guess it? More ore samples. Piping down here. More metal piping. Hey, this looks like up top. That's neat. So other storage, tires, roll forge. Yeah, looks like it's a barn. Agriculture roof. That's not something you see in every abandoned or given mining community. You go to Montana. In Montana. There's this second entrance goes into a totally different room. And it's just another storage room. Empty. The Texaco oil cancer. My car's not broken down lately. Just really lucky. This is the building that caught my attention, the one I wanted to check out. Have you seen the best for last? See, everything else, just overview, all around us. There's actually going to be a bonus. There's a house tucked away in these woods. We're going to see that too. Although, I'm guessing this is a milling operation. It looks like one from the outside. It's this huge place. Is it a bunkhouse? It's a big bunkhouse. Whoa, 2-story. Did you go up top? All those flies, those are horse flies that provide nests. You can do that throughout this whole exploration. Finish up this bottom level. Huge bunkhouse. All the wood forms, always nice to see. Oh wow, this buckles. It moves. Trampoline. Closets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 9 in this one spot. Got 8 closets. They moved everything out of it. I want to go upstairs. That's what I'm going to do. Hopefully, I see that ceiling. It was rotted. I've gone first though. It does feel solid for the most part of the buckling. And here it is. Here's the upstairs of the bunkhouse. This is a 2-story bunkhouse. Of course, all the windows are still here. They haven't been smashed out. It is terrifying walking on this because as I'm walking, I feel it buckle. It's creaky. The creak is pretty normal for wood, but it's very sketchy. And more closet space. 3 closets. Upstairs, even more closet space. Still got the bed, couple beds. I wonder what this would have been. The structure's completely gone. And then there's an outhouse outside of it. It says men. Where's the entrance? Over here. Little outhouse. We're leaving the main section of the mining camp, and we're now headed up because a quarter of a mile up is the superintendent's house, as we believe it's going to be, which is an abandoned house tucked away up this road. What do you think? not too bad at all. Is that a sunroof? This window's up top. Sunroof. Outhouse behind. That peculiar table in the woods. The neat chairs in there, you kind of sit down and relax. What are you guys doing on my property? It has that vibe. That's still used. It looks like people just set up chairs and relax around it. Lighter fluid. It's such a distinctive smell throughout this entire place. And right out to the sky. Sitting in Andrew Electric Park in the Atlas. And in the Atlas. Good YouTube channel. Of course, I gotta say that in front of them. Now, why is there a table with a light? I was hoping it would have been a bell so you could read it. I'd be thinking. Awesome cabin though. Nice skylights. Gotta see the outhouse, of course. Whoa. I'm just gonna come over here and steal all the TV shots. But this I think would be a good shot. Let's see. That's not bad. We're back. It's been a long night. Now we're gonna get going. Okay, don't tell them that. I don't want to film it. As Andrew gets in the way of my shot. How convenient. Two cabins, an outhouse, storage, I assume. Interesting because right by the other mining camp, just down the road, is this. And I figured this would be a great place to check them out real quick. Do an outro. Outhouse. This is a storage room. It's just started raining. So I gotta be quick. The moss on the roof looks cool. Yeah, they don't open. That's shut. Second cabin. Oh, here we go. Rotting wood smell. Nice stove. Rain's coming through the roof. This was a nice cabin one time. It'd be nice to have one like this. Cozy size. Just get out in the middle of nowhere for a little while. That's awesome. Let's close it back up. See, this is how it results. Maybe like the old couch. Broken window. knocked up. Very dark. 2-room bedroom here. It's unfortunate to see these broken up. Second look in. That's great. I do think these could be fixed up as volunteer cabins. That's very much doable. It's a shame how we're going to rock right now. Right off the road, people have clearly camped in the past. And you know, this is going to be it for today's episode. We're getting off the mountain. What a great explorer, you guys. So much fun and so unexpected. As always, put a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Check out Stephen and Andrea's channel, pinned in the atlas, description below. Thank you for watching. Oh, is it not in use? So this is an abandoned branch line shack. Nice roof, good condition roof. Nothing left. Some windows smashed out. I bet if the vandals did that, someone came out here. Unfortunate. It's neat. I'm sure the bed would have been. Yeah. I usually don't get this many views for my videos. Yeah. Porch is gone. I like the crisscross log cabin look. I have a fence around it to keep the cows out of the cabin. It's a nice line shack. I would have thought this would still be in use. That's why coming up, it was kind of sketchy. Because if we would have seen some indication that it wasn't abandoned, we wouldn't have come by. But clearly, it hasn't been in use in a very long time. Snakes! Oh, it's going. Steven, start filming, you're slacking. Because no trip will be complete without a trip to the. Yeah. The outhouse. And then continuing, there's a pantry. Whoa. Hey. I'm kind of freaked out though because we've seen snakes already. When you see one snake, there's others around. See if there's a rattle. Yeah. I can see the showing there. Here's gonna be the brave one. The snake is brave. Nothing. Or Andrea. I guess not Steven. What did you trip Steven? Yeah, so that's another cabin in the distance. Go check that out after this other one. Interesting layout. I'm assuming they couldn't get enough ground they wanted to be fully covered up. Alright, I'm gonna go have a look. Nope. I was about to say nope. No snakes, right? Cool. Wow, it is collapsed in. Fruitcake. You can see all the shelving. Just all collapsed in now. Is this a cabin? Oh, really? Because it has this interesting porch coming out. Having electricity, did you notice that? But it's fully gutted pretty much. Did you go in at all? It's not in the best of condition. The kitchen would have been. There's a couple rooms. This was an old miner's cabin. There's a mine nearby. And then a closet space. Still got 2 coat hangers. Hey, that window. No, it's been smashed out. There's a couple in good condition. That one is finished. Very interesting small cabin. Now we'll go see the other one. If I didn't come back here, I would have missed something. On this side, there's an additional space. Look, it was almost like a duplex. You had one entry there, a 2-bedroom, 2-room, 1-bedroom. One was a kitchen / living area. And then there's this other entrance. Oh, yeah, look, another entry here. So that was an exit, back door. Then they had an individual one right here. Probably a loft. There's a ladder going up. I'll have to tell Stephen and Andrew about this. We missed it. They're off to the other cabin. Oh, hey. Check this out, guys. What do you think? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I go up. Alright, that's that closet space at the wall. This may have been an exit storage room. Here you go. You see anything? Doorknob. Okay. Wow. I'm curious about this room because it does have a window. Boarded up now, tucked away in that huge mound of trees. Is where the other cabin was. And now we've arrived at the second one. So very interesting location. Stephen and Andrew are reviewing this one. We'll go inside and check out the exterior later. Main entrance, shelving right when you come in. So this was kind of a porch design. It's always dark in here. Interesting. We did that plastic brick. Another room. Carpeting. Oh, it's horrible. Fake wood. That's horrible. And then what's in this one? I like the door. Nice to see one still standing. Here's all the windows. They boarded them up, so here was a window. Over there's the other one. Not a lot of windows. And they have structural supports right in the middle of the room. I wonder why they would do that. I wonder if that's a later add-on, or maybe it's something that they had to add when they built the place. So there's 3 rooms here, and much like the other cabin, there's an additional room that could only be accessed on this side. The roof is all fastened right into the carpeting. As you can see, electricity pump, bath, light. This could have been a wash house. That makes sense, I can see that. That may have been a homemade shower. Okay, interesting. And further up, that's the outhouse. All tipped over now. It's seen better days. There's the cabin. And notice just now there's a pantry. That's what this big mound of dirt is. I think we'll check it out. Just getting past all the overflow. These 2 cabins resemble the same design. This one is also overgrown. See, I'm not sure if Steve and Andrea have seen this one. I've seen the footprints. Now leaving the cabin, and we're going to continue on the road because now we're going to check out a mine operation. Stephen and Andrew are making their way up right now, and we finally made it to the Liberty Gym mine. Unfortunately, it is an incline shaft, which means we can't get inside of it. But interestingly enough, there's a nurse chute. Check that out. So we have this all gated. This is a really neat mine. There's quite a bit of structures. So we'll get this out of the way. You could go down. No, you couldn't go down. Never mind. I thought maybe it was open, but you could see they barred this all, the forestry did. So all this metal makes it's just a giant gate. And you can't go inside of it. Even coming over to the adjacent side, maybe we can get a better look at this. Oh, hey, come on. Hopefully you won't fall down, buddy. Oh, okay. Wow, that is a wreck. Look how wrecked that is. Okay, let me show you what I mean. Goes right to water. It's a really neat setup, though. Leaving the head frame, there's a structure here. Not sure what it would have been, but then continuing, there's a vehicle, a very old one, tipped over pickup truck. Now let me know if you know what this pickup truck may have been, or what you think it is. That's funny. They took all that rope. This is all rope. Tied it around the cabin, expecting to unclip it. Maybe we do know what it is. It's a Dodge. That still doesn't tell us what the model is. All that waste rock, there's no adits open, just that one that's been gated. And interesting, I didn't see that. I don't know how I'll see it close up, but there's a wheel on the head frame. They still have the wheel there to bring the equipment, the ore buckets, back up to the surface level. Lies the sheave wheel, stepping right there. Straight over there's the rest of the structures we're looking at. And it's a really amazing area. We're in the high desert of Idaho. It's nice and cool now because it was hot today. It was summertime, very much so. But a neat spot. And here we are. These structures, I'm guessing this is an outhouse. Now, interestingly enough, we are on D1 land, but they still have a no trespassing sign. I'm assuming that's just based off them not letting people in. The BLM probably put that one up. A lot of mosquitoes. I'm getting rid of. Here's the outhouse. So this was a very small operation. They really only had 2 or 3 mine adits. The only significant one was the incline shaft. So it makes sense that there's only one cabin out here. It wasn't exactly the biggest operation. All torn up. All dilapidated now. This side is standing. They had an extension out here too. All demolished away. And this is going to be it today. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to put a like, comment down below, subscribe. And we're going to get going. Get back on the open road and continue traveling. Thank you so much for watching. Everything you see around us is known as the Bannock Ghost Town, which essentially this is like a mini bogey, except you can go inside of all the buildings. In today's episode, we're in Montana to explore the ghost town of Bannock, which stands as a testament to the boom-bust cycles of the American West. Backed into a rugged corner of southwestern Montana, Bannock was founded in 1862 when prospectors struck gold along Grasshopper Creek. This discovery ignited a rush that turned the once remote area into a bustling mining town, attracting fortune seekers, merchants, and adventurers from across the country. At its peak, Bannock boasted nearly 10,000 residents with saloons, hotels, and jewelry stores lining its main street. It even had the distinction of being Montana's first territorial capital in 1864. Bannock's story isn't just one of prosperity. The town became famous for its high murder rate, with bodies often discovered on the outskirts of town. Miners traveling with gold were frequent targets of robbery, murder, and law enforcement was scarce. Adding to the chaos was Henry Feldman, Bannock's notorious sheriff. While publicly tasked with maintaining law and order, Palmer secretly led a ruthless gang of outlaws known as the Innocents. The group terrorized the region, ambushing miners, stealing gold shipments, and living in eternal blood and fear. Palmer himself was said to have orchestrated the murders of those who resisted, ensuring no witnesses were left. Unchecked crime and innocence reign of terror pushed the townfolk to their breaking point. A vigilante group formed in 1864, capturing and swiftly executing Palmer and his top men. Palmer's last words protesting his innocence only deepened the mystery surrounding his true role in the gang's crimes. His ending brought a resemblance of order, but Bannock's dark reputation persisted. Shootings over gambling debts, drunken fights that turned fatal, and unsolved disappearances became part of the town's growing folklore, casting a shadow over its golden past. As the gold dwindled, so did Bannock's population. By the mid-20th century, the town was largely abandoned. Today, Bannock is a ghost town in State Park, offering a glimpse into the past with its well-preserved buildings and rich storytelling. Join us as we explore the rise, fall, and enduring legacy of Bannock, Montana, a true gem of the American West. So I'm thinking we're going to check out the buildings to the left of us, beginning with the house. It's quite interesting looking. Wow. This is a lonely place because it's a ghost town, it's no mining town. Yeah, it's been fixed up by the Forest Service, and all these houses are just open for exploration pretty much, you know? You can just go in there, look around. That was the bathroom right there. This one's completely gutted, but there's some buildings with a bunch of stuff. The hotel here is famous, so that's really what we're trying to find. They have two doors here, that's interesting, right by each other. I think this was walled off at one time, looks like it. Yeah, you can kind of see where it was walled off there. And you can stand, it's just looking around. It's really insane to see. Right out the front door. Wow. So now we're done with this one. And I came right at 8 a.m. Check this out. And you got all the photos of flash flood in 2013. You can pause and read that if you want. On to the, I wonder if this is like a general store. I like this, and there's nobody else around. No visitors, no waiters, workers, but that's it. So that's a neat building. Then the brick one, hopefully we can get them back. That'd be cool. All these houses behind too. We'll have to hit those up. Oh, look at that. It's just looking back behind. And then, a lot of chimneys on it. Looking at the roof. Just coming in. drilling this thing. Seems like a courthouse to me. No, it's not. No. It's open. Oh, look at the stairs. Like it's just kind of spiral. Big one up. A little piano. Oh, this was the same. Check that out. Okay. It seems we're gonna move right now.
I had a list for 140 plus.
One down. That's right. One down. I can put it down. Go, hey, everybody. How many did you say again?
I had a list for 140 plus.
One down. That's right. One down. I can put it down. Go, hey, everybody. It's welcome to another adventure into history. And today I'm back down in some County, Georgia with Cecil. And Cecil is currently doing a cemetery survey for Sumter County, meaning finding every existing cemetery that is findable out here in Sumter County, reporting its location and the graves that are in cemeteries. And we're going to be doing a few today. This is our first stop. One of the dangers of cemetery surveying, the dog is not happy with it. Yeah. Hey, come here. Look, come on, come on, come on. Come on, you gotta go, go, out of the way. Yeah, he's gonna lose a life.
According to the tax records, all of this is cemetery.
Yeah,
Well, I know there's a spot in there that's fenced in. It's got marked graves further back in.
so old road bed. Here, this is a modern road bed too. This ditch,
There it is.
and there's a cemetery. Where's the cemetery dog at? Come on, come on, come on. He's all about the adventure now. When Cecil's doing the surveys of the entire county, he logs every cemetery. But that's kind of our specialty, is the ones that are, yeah.
I know there's at least a couple larger double head falling in there. I found that intricate.
Oh, there's a great house in there.
Yep.
Oh, that is cool. And box tombs. So this is an old one, old one.
Here's the double.
Yeah.
Great house, watching.
Oh man, that is too cool. So that right there is a grave house. It's a wooden structure that they put over graves. It's old. small girl with a dark secret. A love triangle takes a deadly turn. But just who committed the crime? This is the true story of Rosa White. Rosa White was the all-American small town girl. Beautiful, just 18 years old, with a high-liking father. Yet, the shocking events that took place in 1904 would soon thrust her into the national spotlight, stunning with how it glowed, and what remains one of the greatest mysteries that ever happened in the Appalachian Mountains. Logan County, West Virginia, a rugged and isolated community, cradled by towering mountains on every side. This land, steeped in history and shadowed by legend, remained untouched by the outside world for much of its early existence. The area was so remote that even the great iron horse of the 19th century, the railway, failed to carve a path through its rugged terrain until well after 1900. The steep ridges and narrow hollows acted as natural barriers, preserving the region's solitude and way of life. Even in modern times, no interstates or expressways have managed to penetrate through its wilderness. Instead, a sparse network of winding, narrow roads, twists and turns like veins through the rugged hills, connecting scattered mountaineers who still follow in the footsteps of generations past. This is the land that bore witness to one of America's most infamous feuds, the Hatfields and Pulleys, a place where family loyalties ran as deep as the coal veins, and grudges smoldered as fiercely as the fires in the miners' lands. Indeed, it's always been a place of stalwart men who lived by the road of the mountains, yet never messed with another man's family or his property. Since there was no real law to speak of, most men handled disagreements the old-fashioned way, with unpowdering lead. It was here that Henry White made his home on Crawley's Creek, just outside of Cleveland. His ancestors were some of the earliest settlers in this section, and by 1904, the surname White was highly respected, and anyone who bears his last name came from this prominent family. Like most groups, Mr. White had several children. After all, a man needed all the help he could get, maintaining the crops and the animals. As was common practice during this time period, children could be given a small portion of the farm once they were old enough to start their own families. And as you might imagine, after several generations of this, each family in these hills had grown to the size of a small army. In this way, they didn't need the law. That's right. They protected one another's interests against any potential rivals or nosy lawmen alike. Yet, for all the strong boys Mr. White had fathered, it was his daughter, Rosa, who was his pride and joy. Now 18 years old, she had grown up a free spirit on her father's farm, with a love for riding horses and helping her mother around the homestead. Unlike her brothers, who had spent their entire childhood learning how to farm, Rosa had attended primary school, where she developed a love for reading, and even attended a girls' finishing school, where she learned how to engage in the art of conversation on topics like politics and literature. And although Rosa spent her days locked away in the West Virginia mountains, she spent many of her nights reading her favorite authors, Mark Twain and Jack London. I've been on this gospel way many, many days. I know it won't be long. I am gone. If the Lord comes tonight, I'll be on a one-way flight. Just like twinkling of an eye, waiting home. But perhaps Rosa loved nothing more
and to read to the children during Sunday school each week down at the Baptist church. Well, at least this had been Rosa's favorite time of the week. The small whitewashed building stood as the heart of the community, not only as a place of worship, but also as the hub of social life. For the teenagers of Crawley's Creek, Sunday service offered more than preaching and singing. For them, it was one of the few chances they got for courting. Dresses were pressed and hair was carefully combed. And during each service, shy glances were exchanged across the pews.
I just wonder, I cannot believe that I found all of this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ty Champion. This is Camping with Champion, and tonight we're going to be camping behind a busy shopping plaza. There's a Bell, a Dollar Tree, a Dollar General, and you know what all these stores have in common? They all have dumpsters. And you know what all those dumpsters have in common? I'm going to be digging through them before the end of the video. So stay tuned for that. I'm currently on the side of the road on my e-bike, making my way up there, and I will check back once we get a little bit closer. For today's group adventure, we find ourselves in North Wales, where today we are searching for an old abbey deep in the woods that hasn't been.
If you lived in Las Vegas back in the 70s or 80s and decided to return today, chances are you wouldn't even recognize the city that once shaped part of your life. Once a promised land for those daring to dream big and placing their full trust in a prosperous American dream, Las Vegas is now grappling with one of the most severe homelessness crises in the United States. Nearly 8,000 homeless people are struggling every day in Las Vegas in makeshift camps set up in front of the glittering casinos.
San Diego is one of the most visited cities in the world, attracting millions every year with its sunny beaches, scenic parks, and vibrant neighborhoods.
What is it?
In September 2000,
What? What?
In this video, we're going to explore some ghost
I almost came on.
locations. So let's begin. In this video, we're going to visit some ghost towns in western Saskatchewan. Many of these places I haven't visited.
Stay! Hello there! In this video,
Developing news tonight, an Indiana man recovering after he was shot while working at a Family Dollar in Gary.
This is the story of Gary, a city in Indiana.
it's in pretty good shape. It's going through the Joshua Tree Forest area. And we should be getting closer to some mines. We went to a wash, and it's the end of the road right ahead of us. Turns into a pack trip.
Hey everyone, welcome to Sidetrack Adventures. My name is Steve. So I've always
Here it's hot right here. That's 600 people. Very good. This place has never been documented. It blows my mind. Victoria Davidson here, she was also born in the slave King's Luke. She was born on Davidson Plantation. Luke was born on the Hutchinson Plantation. People who never made history books. Think about this. Victoria Davidson, his wife, was buried right over there. She died in 1901. Think about it. Seriously, Luke was standing right over there. He was standing right over there 124 years ago. He was standing over his wife's grave. He was not.
New Mexico, Route 66. It's not all dirt and ghost towns and old gas stations. Look at this. We're in beautiful Old Town Albuquerque. When I was a kid, Albuquerque was just a funny word that Bugs Bunny would say from time to time. When I'm older, I come to Albuquerque funny shows in a punk rock band in sketchy neighborhoods. It wasn't until the last few years that I really got to see all of these parts of Albuquerque, the 300-year-old parts of Albuquerque, where Pueblo and Spanish and Mexican and American culture all collide. Old Route 66.
the last time I was in Charleston, I went to the Magnolia Cemetery, which is where all of the soldiers, everybody who died in Hunley, in the H.L. Hunley submarine, are buried. And that's a fascinating story that they didn't find it for like over 100 years after it sank the USS Housatonic. So I know that the Hunley is preserved in this tank here. I cannot believe that I found all of this. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Todd Champion. This is Camping with Champion, and tonight we're going to be camping behind the busy shopping plaza. There's a Bell, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and you know what all these stores have in common? They all have dumpsters. Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you again from the Mahone Ingram Cemetery. This is the cemetery that began as a burial ground for people enslaved on the Mahone plantation, and their descendants continue to be buried out here. This cemetery was heavily vandalized by people who were poaching trees from this cemetery. The historic cedar trees that were growing out here and the very old oak tree that was a centerpiece to the cemetery were cut down by people who only wanted to steal the wood. They absolutely destroyed the cemetery. Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure into history, and today I'm back down in Sumter County, Georgia with Cecil. So these boxwoods used to line the path to go to this house.
You wouldn't know it now, but that was the walkway to the front door of the house.
So the Rockaway books, the history of Talbot County, describes this house back then as being well kept and what. Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure into his.
The old rusty door. Oh my God, the door is open. The door is open.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel.
foundation of a cabin. So we've got the ruins of an actual plantation right here, undisturbed.
Hey everybody, it's Robert coming to you with another adventure into history, and today we are out in the woods of Talbot County, Georgia at the Jesse Carter Plantation and Cemetery site. I'm out here with Dan and Joy and Cecil, and this is the cemetery that Dan and Cecil found today. So where are we at, Dan?
Well, like you said, we're at the Jesse and Sarah Carter Cemetery here in Talbot County, Georgia. We're kind of northwest of Talbot, Georgia. This is the old Carter Plantation, and we're back way off the main highway on this place. And we wouldn't be able to be here today if it weren't for Cecil. Cecil was able to track this down. You want to tell us about how we got in here?
I've seen it on old maps, kind of had a general idea, and I just left a note on the gate. Dan and I were riding around, and just happened to see the hunters leaving. Stopped, let us know.
Like I said, this is the Jesse Carter Cemetery, and his children, J. Neal Carter, and another one of his sons over there, Little Barry Carter, all buried here. And Joy knows a little bit more about them than I do. All I can say is that the Carters, and we've done other videos on the Story family and the Berryman family. All these families came together when they migrated here in the late 1820s and early 1830s from Warren County, Georgia. So we are all connected back in those counties long ago. Just about every family over there was related one way or another. Even into the what was her name? Neal and Gunby families, the Fleming families. They were all Duckworths. The Duckworths and the Stories and the Hansleys were all related back in those days. And when they came here, they came together. What could fill us in on this?
Yeah, so it's kind of a neat family tree here. So this man, Jesse Carter, his father was named Henry Carter. And the connection that will be of most interest here is, so this is the Jesse Carter cemetery and home place too, right?
Yes.
And then there was another brother, Henry Carter, and that was our line, essentially, that gets us into the stories. Because eventually Henry's son or grandson, William Story, married Sarah Carter Story, and she's the one who built my grandmother's house. That would be video in the past. And then another brother was James Carter, and he is the third great grandfather of President Jimmy Carter. So there's a plain connection.
Before we get to the line, looking at the other ways, I want to say that for Talbot County, this is probably one of the last standing, what we used to call chicken coop graves. Have you ever heard any description of this type of grave? This is one of the few that are standing. It used to be very common. There was even one in Great Hall Cemetery. Fire would get out, and leaves would burn, these things would burn. Way over in there, 1899. So, everything that had been built around 1900.
So I've only ever seen photos of these old grave houses before, and this one is it's absolutely amazing to look at it and see it standing out here in the woods as it's been preserved for so long and had maintenance done on it and kept up over the years. And we'll take a look at the grave that's inside. Dan, you mind grabbing the door for me, sir?
I don't think the hinges were moved any longer, but this slips out. We'll put it back just like it came off.
So this grave has been very well protected. Now Cecil and Dan were already out here before we get here today. So did y'all have to clean this one off? Was it full of leaves?
Cecil slipped it off. It had about 3 inches of dust and dirt and leaves on top of it.
It looks really good. So this is the grave of Elizabeth, who was the wife of D.L. Ernest. She's on her grave as Mrs. D.L. Ernest, daughter of William L. and Susie A. Carter, died at Athens, Georgia, November 14, 1899. Saved by grace through faith, which is the gift of God. She died a pretty good distance. Brought back up here. And then this grave house is amazing. It had a beaded board ceiling here, which appears to be original to 1899, or somewhat right after that. And then these old beams, maybe original as well. I said this has the mortise and tenon. There, we do think that some of this was redone recently, and you can see where the roof was redone with some pressure treated wood at some time. This is absolutely amazing. Do you know any kind of history about these grave houses?
What I was told, they were originally constructed to keep livestock from, hogs and chickens and things from messing around the grave. Like hogs would root up into a place like this that was soft dirt, and they were built just to protect the grave mainly. And graves in old cemeteries in Victorian days especially were considered an extension of the home. And this was like a little home away from home for this person. People had their different beliefs about cemeteries. But that's what I was told was the way that these originated was really to protect the grave. I think the roof was just an added feature of part of folks' beliefs back in those times.
It's absolutely amazing to see one still standing out here. And it's certainly still doing its job, at least as of right now, protecting this grave here. There's a neat little step up into it as well. And then you can see where some relative modern work was done to it. It's got pressure treated wood here. So at some point, someone came and tried to do some refurbing to it. There's some pressure treated wood in there as well. Give you a little peek inside. I can't really see what we're looking at, but you guys can. Absolutely amazing to see this again in the woods like this, though. But that is definitely not the only grave out here. In fact, there's a row of graves right there. There's more there. But furthest out is this grave here, which appears to be kind of the boundary of the cemetery. There's an indention right there that looks like it may have been covered with brick at one time. This is some handmade plantation area. It's made out of red clay found around here. It's got grains and sands in it. But this is a very large indention right here. So this is erected to the memory of Little Barry Carter, who was born in Warren County, Georgia, May 7th, 1807, and died in Talbot County, May 7th, on his birthday. Wow, 1847. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. Wow, died on his birthday. And 40 years old. 40 years old exactly. That's amazing. So there's more graves out through here. You can see indentions in the ground. In fact, there's one right there. It's an indention for a grave. And over here is what remains. Well, there's a grave right there. You can see just barely an indention. Right here is the remains of a fieldstone grave. Probably it was a child. It looks pretty small there. Oh, I see some. Breaking there as well. So I don't know how much that may have been disturbed over the years. There's bricks scattered all throughout here. fieldstones as well. Back over here is the graves of two children that are unmarked. This is Susie Walton Carter, wife of W.L. Carter, born July 12, 1847, and died March 13, 1922. Here's William Carter. This is interesting. It says to the memory of William L. Carter, the beloved companion of Susie A. Carter, born in Talbot County, Georgia, 26 September 1843, died at the same place, 1st May 1875, age 31 years, 7 months, and 5 days. The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Here rests a devoted husband and loving father. Sleep, loved one, till resurrection more, when thou will wake in newness of life. Our loss is his eternal gain. Let's see. Great epitaphs on these. I believe that this is the namesake of the cemetery here, sacred to the memory of Jesse Carter, born in Warren County, Georgia, June 27th. June 22nd, 1793. Died in Talbot County, Georgia, January 23rd, 1868. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. Hey everybody, it's Robert with you with another adventure into history. Now previously I showed you as we began the cleaning process on Mary Craig Crawford's grave, the tragic grave of the young 18-year-old mother who died during childbirth and is buried with her baby in her arms. And we also started cleaning the absolutely beautiful and ornate headstone of her sister, Virginia Osborne Crook. So today on this video, I wanted to give you an update on these two graves. It's been a couple of weeks since we started this cleanup process, and boy, is there an incredible difference already in these graves. It's still going to take more time for these graves to truly return to their original condition or as close to it as we can get. But the D2, along with the rain and sunlight, will keep working until these stones look as clean as new. Of course, there are some things on them that can't be fixed, such as the damage here, the two broken pieces. But another thing I did not notice on this headstone were the two faces on the side of it. I actually did not notice that during the cleanup process. I didn't notice it until Dan pointed it out to me. But look at these two carved faces in the corner of this headstone. It's absolutely incredible. There's one over there, and this looks like a boy's face here. And there's another one on this side. You see all this growth in this headstone is just kind of floating off now. Let's clean it up. But let's take a look over here at Mary Craig Crawford's headstone. And the good news is I can read it better than before. The bad news is the stone is still just so damaged. This stone at some point in time was cleaned incorrectly. It's thought that it was most likely sandblasted, although it also looks like maybe bleach damage to me on this headstone. If it was sandblasted, then what they did was the sandblasting process would have taken this outer layer off, and it opens up pores in the stones and leads to this kind of damage that we see today. Kind of the same thing with bleach. Bleach gets in there and crystallizes when it dries, gets into the pores, and it eats away at the stone. And as I talked about before, of course, the D2 is harmless, but we've got all of this growth off of the stone as much as has come off. So we got some down there, but the stone is more readable. But again, we've got all this damage on here. So when the sun is in a better position, I'm going to have to come back out here with a flashlight. There's a flashlight trick to try to read this. Right now it's being hit fully by the sun, which makes it a little bit hard to read. But definitely at the bottom down there, it says encircling her arms, severs her infant. And we can read that very, very, very well. But we know where her husband is buried, so we're going to go find his grave today. He remarried and lived a full, long life in Columbus, Georgia, and was buried at Linwood Cemetery. So we're going to go find her husband and his parents today. So we're going to be checking out two.
Hey, are you ready?
We once believed we had a
All right, man on a mission. I promised you I'll come back out the next morning. Guess what? We're back out here. So it's the usual kind of schedule, but what?
It's hard to discern what it.
Deep inside a remote cave system in northern Spain, a once in
This is the atlas. This is, you can call it Santo. I forgot the name of this. You know how much this one? 800 pesos. Now I will put, I will put this in. What? Hello, madlang people. Ayan, nandito pa rin sila. They're still here. See? Nandito lang sila. So what?
And we want to update you now on the story we first told you about at the beginning of last year. Lake out the African American legacies.
Hundreds of deaths.
How many times I
In 1939, she made America laugh as the feisty, no-nonsense granny on the Beverly.
Diciamo che tanto qualche buco aiuta. What's up, guys? Over here. Out.
what cemetery?
All right. Today we're on the hunt for the oldest cemetery in America. We're here on Cape Cod in the town of Barnstable, Massachusetts, at the Cobb Hill Cemetery. Our journey will begin here, and we'll end in Duxbury, Massachusetts, at the Miles Standish Burial Ground, which is the oldest maintained cemetery in the United States. It's also the final resting place of many of the pilgrims that came over on the Mayflower in the year 1620. Let's check it out.
Of the three graveyards we'll be visiting today, the Cobb Hill Cemetery is by far my favorite. This hauntingly beautiful cemetery sits atop a hill overlooking the historic Barnstable Village and the nearby harbor. Cobb Hill is not open to new burials, and all of the gravestones here appear to be very old and yet remarkably well preserved. Let's read some of these old stones and see what we can learn about those who are remembered here. To the memory of Abigail Monroe, wife of the late Daniel Monroe of Boston and oldest daughter of Jana Parker of Roxbury, born January 30th, 1755, died May 1st, 1844. Truly devoted as a Christian, her life was tranquil and happy, her death peaceful and resigned.
sacred to the memory of the Honorable Daniel Davis, Esquire, who died April 22nd, 1799, in the 86th year of his age. Reader, be encouraged by his example to the practice of industry, temperance, piety, and patriotism. And your reward, like his, shall be lifelong, the esteem of the life and good in this world, and the joyful hope of a happy immortality beyond the grave. So as I'm walking around here in the cemetery, I'm looking for older dates or names, anything that catches my eye of interest. And sure enough, there was a name, Bacon, last name Bacon, which for whatever reason caught my attention. Everybody loves bacon, right? So I started looking at some of these stones, and I realized that there's a whole row dedicated to bacon here. In fact, this whole section of the graveyard is all with the last name Bacon. So I'm trying to find the oldest one that I could. Captain Samuel Bacon died in a Jersey prison ship, 1781. Sometimes called floating dungeons or ghost ships, the prison ships were nothing more than floating concentration camps. Some 11,000 prisoners died aboard the prison ships during the Revolutionary War, many from disease, malnutrition, or even torture. One of these ships was the notorious HMS Jersey, which earned the nickname Hell for its inhumane conditions and the obscenely high death rate of its prisoners. Captain Alexander Coffin, who somehow survived 2 stints aboard a prison ship, described his experience as, quote, the most deplorable situation, mere walking skeletons, without money and scarcely clothes to cover their nakedness, and overrun with lice from head to feet. So, interesting little side note, as I was making this video, I get an email notification from Zillow of a condo up for sale here in Barnstable. Turns out I recognized the name on the address. It's the Bacon Farm, and as you can see, it's a gorgeous house. According to the real estate website, it was built in 1880. All right, we've made our way to our second location. We're still here in the town of Barnstable, in the Lockhart Hill Cemetery. Now, this is one of the oldest cemeteries on Cape Cod, and the oldest known burials date back to the year 1653. Well, we just made our way from the street all the way to the far end of the graveyard. This cemetery is still open to burial, and all of the historic ones are up here on the road. So I'm headed back to the front here. We're going to see if we can find some of these stones that date back from 1600. In memory of Benjamin, son of Samuel and Sarah Childs, died March 13, 1826, aged 3 years and 8 months. So fades the lovely human flower. So I've been looking for stones as older than the last one we found, which was, if you remember, Samuel Bacon, who died in 1781. So now this one I couldn't get a reading on the entire thing, but I will just show you the date here. As you can see, it's dated 1754. So we're really getting back there. Let's head on to the next graveyard in Duxbury, Massachusetts, and see if we can find ones that are even older than that. All right, we've made our way to our final destination. We're here in Duxbury, Massachusetts, at the Miles Standish Cemetery. Now, according to the ACA, the American Cemetery Association, this is the oldest maintained cemetery in the United States. It's also the final resting place for many well-known pilgrims who arrived on the Mayflower in the year 1620. Let's check it out. 2.5-acre cemetery located in the town of Duxbury, Massachusetts. This site was the location of Duxbury's first meeting house, which was operational from the year 1638 through 1789, at which time the cemetery was abandoned. In 1887, there became a growing interest in locating the resting place of Duxbury's most famous colonist, Miles Standish, and so the old burying ground was reclaimed. After 2 exhumations, in 1889 and again in 1891, it was generally agreed that Miles Standish's remains had been located, although this has never been definitively proven, and a new memorial was built over his gravesite. Miles Standish was an English military officer who accompanied the Pilgrims on the Mayflower and played a leading role in the administration and defense of the Plymouth colony since its foundation in the year 1620. The following year, in 1621, the colony militia elected him as its first commander and continued to re-elect him for the remainder of his life. Standish's military leadership was very effective, though often criticized due to his proclivity for preemptive action. He led at least 2 attacks against the local Native Americans, during which Standish exhibited courage and skill as a soldier. However, he also demonstrated brutality that angered the natives and disturbed more moderate members of the colony. The oldest recorded burial, as I understand it, belongs to John Alton, who was a crew member aboard the Mayflower, responsible for maintaining the ship's barrels, a job he landed at the age of 21, due in part to his useful skills as a barrel maker and carpenter. Because he was a crew member and not a passenger, it was planned he would return to England. However, he decided to stay and join the Pilgrims as a colonist. Perhaps it had something to do with the fact that he married fellow passenger Priscilla Long. Sadly, Priscilla's entire family died during the first winter of Plymouth. Many Pilgrims died the first winter. In fact, it wasn't until the native people taught them how to forage for food and how to survive the harsh New England winters that they were able to survive. The marriage of the young couple made its way into pop culture. A poem written in 1858 inspired widespread depictions of John and Priscilla in art and literature during the 19th and 20th centuries. These commemorative headstones were placed in 1930 to honor John and Priscilla Alton. Well, I guess that's it. The oldest grave and the oldest cemetery in America. Does that make it the oldest grave in the USA? Who knows? Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it. Ferris Bueller.
Oo, nababanawan mo ng maayos yung ganun. No water, I don't know.
Paleontology.
Something wrong with the electricity, right? And also
Welcome.
water is gone.
From a disaster in Pakistan that buried 1/3 of the country, and a Peruvian woman who narrowly escaped the tornado.
Did you know some celebrities do? Good morning, and welcome to an extra video I'm pushing on to planet right now.
This visual right here is insane. The biggest film I've ever seen.
That is a wicked awesome shot. What the hell is this big side passage?
1906.
You don't see that every day. Wow. Absolute spectacle.
For those of you that want a nice, long, boring history lesson on the tunnels before we get started, well, here it is. In the year,
Looks like it says danger velociraptors inside or something. Are my eyes deceiving me? That's really what it says?
Carnivore human only within.
Did we just hit the jackpot today? Oh, that's foolish.
Subukan po natin itong wireless microphone na nahanap ko sa Shopee. Yan. Yan yung mic na mismo. Pwede may sapit dyan. Tapos ito yung kinokonek sa cellphone. Test na natin siya. This is my voice without.
You have internet?
Completely flooded. Well, luckily we have two neighboring tunnels there. One side that should be completely dry. One side that's completely flooded. Look at the size of this massive thing. Damn. That is really neat looking. Hold that big torch up. It was bright, extra bright, and then blinding. Whoa, this is a sight and a half. That's insane. The roof is raining a little bit. Gotta be 30 feet, yeah, I was just about to say. Even though we can see the daylight, I swear this has to be at least a half a mile long. Damn. Biggest film I've ever seen. Wait, do the two tunnels connect? What the hell is this big side passage? Sweet.
Does it go to the surface?
There might be some kind of metal plate up there or something. And you check out that way. That's the river we saw at the beginning.
It is dry.
Freaking cool.
But then it's flooded over here too, so I think we're gonna have to stick it to that side.
Super. It's good.
Here we go.
Well, if the camera picture, at least it's my fault. Oh, shit. It's a nice one, just to me.
Ice. Ooh, it's really cool.
You alright? That is a wicked awesome shot, I must say. There's something up there. Well, I need to stop the camera for a second, clean out the lens, and make sure the water tank full of water. It's all cleaned up. We're good to go.
What is the white?
That was totally unexpected. I had no idea that they were going to connect here in the middle. It almost looks like from here, the far portal is just filled with icicles. Like you might actually have a hard time getting through that. Let's go find out. I hope so. I hope we see some kind of prehistoric animal down here. You're gonna climb up that? Yeah, where the hell not? Besides the ice, this really wouldn't be that bad of a climb. Not too bad. You're up there.
It's a crazy perspective looking down on you from here. It's pretty dry here too. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can get that. Yeah. No. It's dry for a little while, but there's a little lake between us. This visual right here is insane. Whoa. Yeah. Not only that, Phil, but there's a mirror image going on. Is it your light on the water in front of you? Yeah. That's crazy. All right. All right. Yeah, buddy. Give me a second. Looking for handprints.
Yeah, we have a long way to go. I don't even think we made it halfway yet, so let's get this. I think this we could just walk right into. Hell yeah.
Is it dry?
I don't know, but it's just a cool shot of you standing up there on that ledge. Might as well travel this side. Switch it up a little bit. And I was hoping you were going to say Velociraptor. We got railroad ties.
There's a block wall right
Right,
after
like a-
that clock.
Well, like in the United States, I would like to go to the West Coast and I take you through the Rocky Mountains. You know, Illinois drive. It'd be about a 2-day drive.
Days. Just turn around.
Pick up the car in Portland, Oregon, or somewhere, Oregon or Washington State, and drive 2 days to Illinois.
Tradition
I
is
waited
like
for
the
the
great pyramids of Gaza has a very ancient vibe to it. Giza?
That is good place.
Yeah, $600 to rent a car. That's for 7 days. Not bad. Not for 7 days.
As we proceed down Screaming Mount Portland.
Did you tell Vicky?
I will
Time to walk?
We are not walking up the floor anymore.
That is,
I will be
that
on the
is,
floor.
that no water is from
Very
the
cold.
water,
Should get out. Go back to the pyramids of
water
Giza.
station.
Gaza?
Because of the it's because of the no electric.
So. There is. A big old hole in the ceiling. Like hanging daggers, don't go underneath that. I see what you mean with the icicles that look like saw blades. I'm almost hesitant to have a look up there. Whoa, it's right, whoa. There we go. I'm having a hard time keeping my eyes open.
It's small.
The camera certainly saw it. It's like, you don't see that every day. Yeah, it looks like water, sheet of ice up ahead. Well, we are finally approaching the exit. We were able to see the daylight the entire time, and yet it took us like a good half an hour to get here. Wow. This is crazy. What an absolute spectacle. No joke. I feel so pleased. You look, I could barely even see you in frame. It's crazy. Yeah. What? To notice him as above so much. Very snappy. Are you ready for this ice cream landscape? Well, this is why I came. No more of that. Oh wow, visually just absolutely stunning from right here. I am almost at a loss for words.
Whoa! Whoa!
I think we're on another planet right now. It's like we're on the planet Krypton. Or one of those underground crystal caves in Brazil. You made it up there without slipping on your ass, huh? I got that. has to say. This is insane.
Maganyan ka. Nag-inom ka ba? Din.
Take a bit of ice cream. It's some cracks forward. Yeah. I don't want to go back. Soggy vegetables.
Dito?
No. Just the behind.
Where are you going, boy?
You ever been on ice?
Well, that's gonna wrap things up for us today. What a crazy little adventure that was.
It's not safe to fly on ice.
You want to say goodbye to our loyal
I can
amazing
experience that, so?
brothers
I
and
can
sisters.
experience that, so?
Stay safe.
We'd have to go to the United States during the winter time.
I stole your thunder.
Either that or the United Kingdom,
See you in the next hole.
but you're already seeing.
Maybe before 10 years, I can go in your country.
Oh, we'll go pretty soon.
Ayaw naman si mama. Ayaw naman. Bulit na nga sila sa request. Tinaulat na lang.
Clever girl.
Tinakay ka sa pakira, ah. Oo. Ano tinapay niyo? Uy. Ano? Ato na dito. Hindi pa mabuksan mayo, ha? Kay ma.
Contaminated some of these mines are. I'm getting out of here. Mrs. Emma.
Ang dalon ko naman dito. Dito, kuwan sa iya. Aklitan ko, madali lang naman. Mga, kuwan siguro ito magastos ko. Naman. Naman.
Palitan mo speaker lang kusok-kusok. Susunod lang to, kuha.
Oo.
Yan, ito kuha na gulong gas-gas.
Centuries.
Kuha na kami Diyosen, magkibaylo na kuha. Itong kuha mo yahan eh. Ang yahan ko
Oh,
kuha.
hindi mo na pa speakeran. Yan naman na kinakapa.
Kayo to, orang kuha na dito itong yahan.
O gani, ako na gani. Kung nakayo ko pa. Kasi sa kalibo bayan. May nag-akumutan ako kay balan ko nga.
Human
Ayaw
remains were
pa
found
kayo.
hidden within the walls of a suburban Chicago home, and this shocking discovery remained a mystery for over 4 decades.
Buka naman gusto ko. May nagugulukan niya. Then,
Hello
magtangan
and
sa
welcome to a new video.
Okay na.
Today is the smile here on camera. Holy sh! That smells like it smells like there's a body in here. That is one of the grossest things I've ever seen.
Ngayon, kuya sa anot niya eh. Ilabas cinta ba?
You may all remain seated
Cinta mo kaya?
inside.
120.
Ulos kuya doon kayo dito sa linis nila Adre oh. Adre, ito ulo dito sa linis nila oh. Dahil kuha rin po doon nila oh. Kaya ni udon niya yung tao niya. Tulukan ko, tulog ko.
Kami kadalian.
Ayaw
Ito si Juan. Marites ko raw kung kasi panang ko sa ako kung ano. Ito kwartag sa Marites ko sa ako today.
Pati katamaran. Pati katamaran.
Kamaran gani.
Abi mo? Ganan yung pabulikon to. Bantay kay lula niya. Why, kid?
Ganan ko, ko may ba katok ko taon sa kay lula mo dai.
Washington, and today
Kasi binigyan gani, hindi binigyan. Ko bay ina joy na. Dai, ko di mo malagat. Mo kanon mga palpal kay na. Ay karo.
primarily
Di mo na kono palpal kayo.
as we kind of break out of this little
Ay
area,
ino na.
actual trees.
Sa nawili mas pista bang wa.
Ni ano?
See right back here.
Ano?
This is where the line is set.
Ako.
We're going to take a look
Wait,
at
lang na sila kilala nga. Hindi na mautan.
and the
Ako.
and
Wait, sila kapalot na.
supervisors to
Step,
share
ano?
yeah, come along
Good for eating. That one.
Oo na nalakuhan
Ako,
sila siya.
ako. But in your country, you don't know that it's not to eat. Right? Oh. If I'm there, I will get that one and then cook.
So we're making our way to our
That one,
first
oh?
on the trip.
It's cooked
and
here.
For the mill site,
See, you see that?
and making our way
That's
down
good.
the
Ako.
trail here.
Doon, no? Kadabog yun, no?
Across the trail.
Wala na sila kabalo dyan. Mamuutan, no?
Nakuhaan mo na limang butang ka, paano ko sa butang? Nakuhaan mo na yung mamang na nakuhaan niya.
Under the
Nakuhaan mo
side.
ka nakuhaan mo pagka.
So we're just gonna continue to scramble down here.
Oo,
So we should
kita
go a
mo
little ways down the hill.
na
Get
mga
back
tao
to
mo to
our
yung
shadow
atong
right
lingmod,
here.
di na nagulang naman agod, no?
Around.
Atong lingmod, bagong sibo lang ba?
Udlot.
This is
Udlot.
Ulam, udlot nga, pula.
Ulang naman ako, no? Hindi man
Goes
tinudlot.
upstream here. And goes all the way down.
Tao
here.
na
So
sapa.
it's probably here.
Ang wala ila bukid dito, di ka ano ba kadagong lumadlo ka na may
We work our way down.
may manok.
But way down here, you can see some other
Naman upo na ito may kagro.
and whatnot.
There
So
is snake.
we're gonna make our way down there momentarily.
Nga, may snake dito
But
ay.
first,
Kagko
we're
ano
gonna
Wait,
go
snake
down
di
ito?
ba see the
mill
snake?
building was. And so kind of
So
circles
one
over side here.
factor you can.
So this was a gravity mill. I'm not exactly sure what tonnage it was. We can definitely look that up. You can see here,
Ano
a lot
nga,
of
basta kayo
these rock.
ang alam mo ay
And then down here, we have what remains of some timbers from the mill structure. Once I get down here, you kind of see, say, get closer. I believe this mill was lost to fire, and evidence here would support it. You can see those burned timbers. And I can't remember what year that happened, but again, I'll do some checking in my research materials and notes and put it down below. And all through here, we're gonna find stuff, parts and pieces from mill equipment. Move around through the brush here, some of it's harder to see than others just because, well, the brush this time of year. But over here, it looks like we have a crusher, I believe it is anyway. Without getting too close, let's see here. I believe this was a jaw crusher and not a compressor, let me just double check. I should be able to identify this. Yeah, this is definitely a crusher. Just want to make sure I can see the copper underneath here where the material would have been fed. This is a super cool piece of equipment here. A little hard to see all the growth, but decent size. Just another view of it. So being this was a gravity mill, we had multiple tiers or levels. So we would have one here, one right down here, then the third and last one down there, which we'll look at momentarily. Here we have different flywheels and whatnot, and shafts for all the different pieces of equipment that are belt driven. Here we have a handle of some sort, it's kind of like, you can see it here. And it's gear here. And this piece of equipment, it resembles a rod mill configuration.
configuration. I used to know, I think what this was. I just got calling today, so again, I'll have to look it up and just get some information below, but obviously, if you immediately know because you have good knowledge of mining equipment, then put it in the comments, and we appreciate that. So kind of the main item that's left here, as far as equipment goes, is our pass through these trees and bushes here. Coming into view, it's the ball mill. The ball mill was a mill system where, as it implies by its name, it had steel balls inside, and it would tumble the ore and crush it down. And I think on a couple of our other videos, we described ball mills in detail. And as you can see, there's a lot of other parts and pieces laying around down here. And we'll look at those individually as we kind of move around. There is the ball. I think if I remember, years ago, it actually was one up here, you can see these are some of the steel balls that have been inside this drum. And of course, they would have tumbled along with the ore to pulverize it down. And then here is another steel ball, which is considerably larger. Here is the other side of it. So this would have been on some sort of a shaft driven system, so it can spin it. Now, like we said before, you can see there's just so much brush out here. There's all kinds of stuff you can kind of make out, and we'll see if we can look at it, just poking up everywhere out here. Probably a good site to visit in the fall, just get a brush. A little structure here, not exactly sure what it's for. Let's try over here. We have some flanges. Generally, it's kind of hard for me to read anything on the camera. A lot of times, in some years on them, we have patent dates. I believe this one says 1907. I'm going to step down here before we go to the other side, just see if I can make out anything that's out here in the brush. Let's see, we got some here. Looks like some sort of large wheel. Some sort of belt-driven wheel. And again, there's probably a lot more in this vicinity that's just hard to see right now on the side of the road. First, if I knew it was part of the drill, but I think it is. I really hard to see the brush, so I apologize. I'm trying to put it off or make it as visible as I can. Another wheel belt-driven system here. Get back up to the ball mill is. And then this right here was a pellet mill. And it had something to do with this water fin right here. And that was coming down, so the water fin obviously was connected into the nozzle that would have fired the pellet wheel under pressure of the water. And you can see the cups for the wheel that would have been mounted here. And I know many years ago I've seen photos of this. Now the cups were still here, and at some point over the last, I don't know, 30, 35, 40 years, cups were taken off the wheel. And that's always kind of crappy to see, but it does happen. And we have some of the pipes and whatnot that would have been valves for the flume here. You can kind of get a better view of the flume right here, because this would have ran all the way from up top, coming down here on the creek. And then over here, it looks like we have the remains of an ore car. So we got some wheels right here and axles. I think these ones actually do have some sort of maker information on this. I'm going to look at that. So I can definitely make out the coma right there.
hit a couple of these others to see if I can get a more clear view. And here's part of the R car. You can see the axles right here. And you can see here, which is kind of cool. This would have been the gate right here. You can see kind of how it's rotated up and down. And marking right there. I'm sure. That's an anchor's mark. And then we have the other side. We'll call wheels here. And there's four systems right there next to the wall, to give you some scale perspective. And so this is the majority of us here at the mill site. So we're going to make our way a little further up into the basin and take a look at where the camp was, and then make our way out from there to the mines and one other artifact that we want to share with you. Came up on this old bridge. You can definitely see its force still there. Not long to the swirl. Now we're in the vicinity where the mine camp was, not too far away. And there's some additional equipment here. And over here, we have some pieces of what looks like aircraft. And it's a bit of a mystery as to why this is here. We said that maybe there was a plane crash here, but when I looked years ago at all the crash records, I couldn't find anything for this area that was listed. So if anybody knows anything about this, that would be great to have in the comments. You can see there is some aluminum here. And right over here, as we kind of head up the trail to the area where the actual camp was, you can see there's some wood water pipe here running underneath the trail here. This whole flat area here, a lot of this was where the mining camp was. There are some artifacts here and there, and around. And this area is used for backcountry hiking and camping. So there are some backcountry campsites in this area as well. You can see people have taken some of the old mining equipment and maybe tried to pass the time camping or utilized it. This looks like it was part of a sawmill. You can see all the measurements on there. And I've seen these at other sites that had sawmill equipment. One parts to, I believe, is an aircraft. And here we just kind of have a whole mix of items from the mine operation, cable, and this drum over here. And this obviously looks like it's part of the aircraft as well. So along the way, I'll show you is definitely huckleberry season here in Washington. And you can see how these bushes up here get pretty loaded. Came across this along the way. Looks like a bunch of air pipe that was left out here that somebody turned into a bridge in a couple of spots. And then there's
You see a bunch of it here, all of the creek. Just go up here real quick and take a look at it. There's a bunch all through here, and you can see one is actually being repurposed right there. It's got water running out of it. We got a bunch of air pipe that was utilized for bridges, and you can see over here that somebody that kind of made a camping spot. Here we have maybe some water camp with some relics incorporated. Part of the stove, maybe the cabin site was out here, what they called it from the main camp. And then again, some more relics. So we're getting a little closer to the mines. I'm going to step out there on this tall slope and look right kind of dead center there. You can see the waste dump just making that out. And then over here, we have part of what was the tramway. It's cable right here. And you can see it runs all the way up there. And for those of you who aren't familiar with this site or haven't recognized it, and where this cable ends up top is probably one of my favorite artifacts of all the mines we explore. And you definitely want to stick around for the rest of this video to see that. So we're going to make our way across this tile slope and get up here and share what I consider to be a really rare artifact for mines, but also just something really rare to find out here in Washington and the explorer general. Here's the first view of that artifact I mentioned a minute ago, which is a steam donkey, normally used in the logging industry, but in this case it was brought up here for the mines, and we just don't see this very often. So really, really cool artifact. So we get closer here and share that with you. And if you know your steam donkeys, the first thing you're going to notice is this thing isn't oriented correctly because it's tipped over. So normally the tank would be standing up vertically and the winches would be horizontal. And at some point, when the tank happening is up here somewhere, there's a skid that looks like it was the skid for this donkey, and it may have just through time and weather and snow rotted off the skid, tipped over and slid to this point where you can see all the tubes there.
I don't know if they have.
And the two winches up there. The cable spool. I think there are some markings on this. I'm not sure if they're for the whole unit or just for some components. Not here, but it's the Ash Iron Works company. Yeah, I'll definitely do some more on that. Some sort of pattern. Doesn't say here what pattern applied for. Just an overall view or a short image and give you the size of this thing. But it's very, very cool. Like I said, it's just rare. I mean, I know people find these occasionally associated with logging in certain areas, but I have personally not run across any in the wild. This is the only one. And to have it associated with the mine site is even more unique.
So we're looking up the hill here. You can see waste dumps here, and just right over there. And those are lines on the side of the basin. This here, if I remember correctly, I believe the skid for this was right, and this is what the steam vac was sat on. So there was a lot here, and I think one over here, and it's just very deteriorated, as you can see. So it's hard to tell this was empty. And here's a view of that skid. Where the steam vac began looking down. There's the donkey down there. Most likely mounted right here. And then at some point, as this deteriorated, it just tipped off and rolled on its back. It sits where it does now. The view here, looking back, down and across the basin. So just up the hill from the steam donkey, there's all this wood that's cut and stacked right here. And our best guess is that this was all done and stored here to feed the steam donkey. It's kind of cool that, again, all this split cut wood has just been sitting here for at least 100 years. So it's just on the stack down the hill here. So we're about halfway up to the first line on the side, and down from there, quite correctly, you can see the steam dock where we came from. Right up here, we see that kind of brownish tan rock, the bottom of the waste dump we're headed. Well, we're at the bottom of the waste dump, so we thought we'd just stop for a moment and kind of look around at some of the rock. Here. Here you can see some of the material here with this vein layer. It's pyrite or tall in there. You can see clay, this one. This is the material. And it was coming out of the line up there. We're just gonna scramble up here, maybe actually no, just go this way. So the fiber. And if we see any ore samples, we'll share them with you, but we're going to turn the camera off or kind of do this rock scramble. So we made it to the top of the waste dump. Looking down here. And here is the first mine entrance. And these out at the top here, these mines, like a lot of mines I mentioned in other videos, just were not that profitable, and they didn't last that long, so they weren't particularly large. And we'll go a little bit of that mucky water here, it's not too bad. Explosives. Bombs here. Just like explosives. ABS. It's like manufacturer or something there. This is powder or something. That's cool. It still has its writing on it. It's very cool. Oh, yeah. It's very wide as far as mine tunnels go, but it's just got some low points in it. And here you can see some mineralized areas. Some copper, I'm not showing through there. Some more of this blue and green showing. see how far this thing goes. This one seems a little bigger than I thought it was, but that's a good thing. Kind of look at some of the veins here to see a lot of copper section, copper wash. Looks like we go in two directions here. So we're going to go forward first and come back. Seems to be doing that task.
Electricity should be because the refrigerator is broken. It puts too much electricity in the refrigerator is broken.
And go over here. So there was some car body graffiti here. So you got messed up at some point. Alright, so I turned the camera off, kind of walking back down from the face wall there. And now we're coming over the tunnel up to the left. We're going to check that out. It looks like, I look at this area now, quite large. And maybe a backfill over there. So I guess we're going to take a look. And see, there's some carbide if you kind of can't quite look out like this. Let's go over here. We'll go up here to interesting. So they did backfill it, but it looks like the face is right there either way. Interesting, okay. Well, maybe it was, there was more backfill here and someone else removed something, I don't know. But it definitely isn't one, right? So I guess that's good. If I run this along, everything there. This little chamber looks like. And
10 minutes, including freelancers like you, who trust ways to get paid from a break. Download the Wise app today.
Boarding hotels. Book fun family stays with Pagoda. Download now.
And in here, you can see another vein going up under here. Carrying it over here. And it looks like it continued that back over there. You this vein start running through the off of it. It shows it here. See.
All right, now we're gonna start making our way back towards the entrance of this one. And then we're gonna find our way over and jump over to the attic that's right next to this one. See if we can side hill it over what we want to do. Again, see our cover behind the mountains of some kind. Okay, for this one, we're gonna do what's going on up there.
So we're looking back at the waist up of the line that we just came out of and making our way across to the second attic and came across this wheel here and also the cable. So this is, doesn't take much to figure out. This is on the tramway system. So we were looking at that wheel just up here when we were coming down. We can now see that this was a tramway station, the upper station for this. And it's some sort of something that this is here, like for a shaft to be affixed to. Almost really up here, as you can see, like where this lever right in, and you can see the lever kind of snapped off right here, and then we've got a handle up here, and here you have these teeth, right? So maybe this was part of the braking system or the release system for the cable. And then next, we're going to, we can skirt across this band of trees and make our way over to this second attic. So we made our way just from over here, where the other attic was, kind of down and across all this brush, and now we're at the adjacent attic. One of the cool features of this attic is this door collar that's right in the entrance here. See, we got a little bit of water here. 6 inches deep with the entrance. Oh, there we go. And we have a drill stand here. Automatic drill. See right here. Piece of steel. Right here also. Let's see. Let's see. Let's get this part. Drill. This one doesn't have much of a head on it. Release their lever will be step forward. That water is going to come back out. You can see on the air line. It's like it's on that strap rail. See the lid. And then you can see the straps kind of just broke off over the years. Graffiti. May of 47.
worried.
Yeah,
Right?
this stuff isn't,
Look.
it works good sometimes. If I only use it twice, then it doesn't last long. If I use it more than twice, then it's fine.
I'm still waiting your paycheck and we will go to the doctor. That's all. Because I want them to check that and they will give you a medicine, the right medicine, right? The right medicine and also if you will, they will request that you need to get your X-ray. You will get X-ray, right?
Actually,
What?
made
What's the meaning?
some water here.
We will go in the AMC doctor.
University across.
All of that is there. So 800 pesos for the check-up. And if you have X-ray, that is another 800. Ultrasound, another.
Feet.
For that, so that we will know what is that, right?
Air receiver tank here, looks like.
That's it
So
from
these guys would have had a
you
long
have
time.
medication. We will buy the medicine and take it.
Area maybe they were starting to do a little bit of opening here. We turn the corner and we face out. So Forrest is doing some coming down here. I'm gonna shut the camera off for a minute. Take it up on the other side. So we're back to the entrance here where your car is. See if we can give you another look at this before we move on. Just one look at the waist down for the one we just came out of, which is right here.
I will ask you to
We'll
do
say
500 pesos for the
about a lot of these areas we
birth
store.
certificate
These are priceless and they're spectacular
birth
areas.
certificate of you said
So we have reached our third and final night of the day, and you can see Forest out here. So
We
they
need
have
that
the
one.
farmer's talus slope, and we're headed in
ano,
this area up here.
I am the
Take us a minute to get up there, so
guidance
we will turn the camera off. We'll see you.
or school.
So we reached the top here, headed to this third mine, and the first thing we came up on is
Ayun na ka?
a travel station. So we have a couple of the winches here for the tramway, and you can see one still spooled with cable, and they have the foot here, just in the down this one does.
Uy, maayo na ka?
And the drum, and this one you can still see has wooden slats on it right here, which is really cool on the outside. You can see the, yeah, the internal cable there, pipe.
Problema sa sulod.
And then over here we have,
Diba
let's see,
problema ng
what's the
sulod
slasher
mo?
back here?
Hindi makukuha mo sa atin.
So over here,
Wow.
cross over this. Here's the other side of it. You can see all the things that change here. really cool. So the cable
Aw, amin ako,
just
wala
goes
load.
all the way down to Callister, and we followed it up to this.
Abong ka na pasyente mo, te.
Okay, so over here, we have the main freezer that came up here. And we have the outlet right here. The first thing, before we go back, you can see here.
Ah, baliktad siya. Adlaw tulog, gabi. Mata.
There's a wings right across the entrance. And that is definitely opened up quite a bit more from when I was last year in terms of the boards that I'm crossed and missing. Carefully make my way across this wind, which is
What do you want to get?
yeah,
What do you want to eat?
it's very much just a fire line.
Ice cream.
Is that all ice cream?
Trust me.
What do you want?
Don't just step across it.
I don't want ice cream.
Don't use the
I got your water.
Yeah.
Ay, pag water.
Alright, so here's our winds. The entrance. So it looks like it goes down.
Did you poop
To
in
the
the
left,
morning?
facing out.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Every day you poop once. What? Every 2 days?
3 days.
What?
Go.
That's not good. Because you're always eating.
So the first thing, and the coolest feature here, is we have this. There's with the windlass still in half here.
Ano ka, Amy? May paano ka nun yung hindi na
See
kadaan daw
stuff
ni
like
Mama
that very
sa
often, but the windlass still here. You can see the ladder going down in there, but ours is not very clear. We don't know this
Gusto niyan pasta.
so
Carbonara. Ay, pagkakal ka ng carbonara.
this is really cool. And for those of you who don't know, I think a lot of you that watch this channel know a lot about not but the winds, is a vertical shaft, should be done for this one. And the glass basically is system and kind of a tank handle that we able to use to put buckets or some apparatus down in the shaft so you can get the lower down the tools or bring out the board. That's essentially what I'm asking. It's rare to see the last piece from our perspective still in place. We found evidence of them, bits and pieces that have not been then still intact, so I'm really cool to see this. See the tunnel here, this one's out pretty good, it's pretty tall here.
Namin Manila carbonara din.
12 foot. You see right here. Here's one of those things that we talk about safety things.
Ayan nga kung mga live na ano na naman. May tao ka man. Ano ka sinasabi ba?
So, definitely not gonna make almost any noise or vibration through here.
Sure.
You can see
Hey.
it's about here. I will probably take a look similar right here with the dividers. So that
What are you gonna get?
this is so most of the material either side is down. That is kind of stealing. So let's not pass this. Just a little back here. Survey. If you were slowly, see here, where they were sewing up, and you can see veins up in here. Entire ceiling here of the sewn area. And this is probably at least 20 feet out. They sewed. See some of that. Still showing that these, obviously, you saw back there, but I'm sure they're shooting off right here. This kind of granular material instance of solid rock. So obviously, there's some here trying to prevent that. And there's some more downfall from that material shooting off.
Akin lang tayo, B. Basi mapilaan na pag ilong sina. Oh. Kapag ako na sumama ka, ang tao na ako na eh. Bakla na lang na sa tunggaw na. Pinakandos siya kag ipatindugot. Sa isa hol. Meron to. Amon sina o. Na. Imo siya amon sina o. Dayon kalsa siya. Amon siya sandok. Ito siya bulay. Kalsa siya. Itungtong dito sa ano. Pagkaalsa, itungtong dito sa Arinola. Daw bangko tiyate. May buho sa bili. Sige na, upay ni siya sa tulog. Ay, gino. Mami, gidi tulog na te. Ala, kabalik. Gano na siya, kaipon na siya niya na ano, iya lakas ba? Iya na, gusto, unang sige siya tulog.
What's going on, people? First video I made on Facebook. This smells scares the shit out of me. I'll show you why, okay? For one, I found a showcase in the store a second ago. And is it creepy or is it not creepy? It's creepy. He's got bulls 23. Wow, that's funny.
Breaking news! Crispy bata panalo sa mga kasa! Mustiso madidiskasa!
Michael Jordan. Chicago. Okay, also, lots and lots and lots of medical club at different colors. And I'll show you something else I found. It was kind of concerning to me. But it's Nebraska. I've never been here. Well, I don't know if you know that, but never as a YouTuber. I can call myself a YouTuber now. Well, you put something on YouTube, I think. And I hope that happens. Look at those. They're beautiful. So scary. So, I drove all the way back here to see how many buildings there were. I'm sorry about the wind, if the wind's an issue. But, that's my scenery. I don't know if it looks any, if it looks good from here, but it's just absolutely beautiful. It's nothing but mountains. But I've been finding a lot of really, I don't know the word to use, iffy places. It's going to be a burning hell. Or it's going to be, they're going to be just going to be able to. I don't know if you guys can see the beauty, but back there. And you might be like, oh, we can see them top. Mind you, I'm looking at a little tiny screen. What's up, people? Finally, something new. I know.
Smile here on camera. Holy sh! That smells like it smells like there's a body in here. That is one of the grossest things I've ever seen. Is that rotting flesh in there too? Hell no, that's where that smell's coming from. The Tacoma couldn't make it, so we're just gonna take the Suzuki up to the mine operation. We're headed to the Banner Mine. You feel pretty comfortable down there, Steven?
Yeah, it's not bad. I think we're going to try this out.
Oh yeah. The claustrophobic setup, no seatbelt required. We finally made it to the Banner Mine. There's a couple buildings here, some off straight ahead of us, and then going back up, there should be some other buildings. Unfortunately, coming up, there's two buildings that were burned down from fire.
Supposed to be, I don't know if there's buildings anymore.
Yeah.
Just foundations. So there's a few here, so we'll see what else.
We'll see. Some sort of storage. Interesting. So there's a sink. That makes me think if they had some sort of, they obviously had plumbing. I wonder how they got water. This wasn't a significant operation enough to have a well, but they must have trucked water in. There's also a shower right here. A lot of water jugs scattered around. Nice. Hydroabsorbent. Not sure what that is. And then continuing, we'll see what Stephen and Andrew are looking at. Outhouse.
We roll in there on the top.
Yeah, not the fanciest. Oh, wow. There it is. That's all collapsed in, but there's water coming out of it, which means to an extent it is open. Because all of this is providing water for these plants.
So this place was actually founded in 1864, and between August 27, 24 of that year, over 200 prospectors moved in to mine the silver that had been discovered in the area. There was even a post office here that ran from, I believe it was 1878 to 1913, I believe. So this was actually a town, not just a mining camp. So we
program.
You guys enjoy this weird view for right now.
Countries that are doing this, and we will add it onto the price that we charge them for doing business in America. In other words, we'll add it on to tariffs if they don't do what is right, which is everybody should equalize, everybody should say, pay the same price. So special interest may not like this very much, but the American people will. I mean, I am doing this for the American people.
To achieve patient success.
Imagine if you run that 40 bags in such nuisance, that's their plan. They see this as another component in addition to the others as a way to destroy the state of Israel. We cannot allow them to develop the capability to produce 20,000 missiles. That's why we launched an operation to destroy their production capability. And that's
On October 26, 18. This presentation outlines the development of European economies. This was the last time we saw him. Saturn failed the challenge.
When the war ended, thousands were trapped in places where no one wanted them anymore. Some had lived there their whole